to episode 22 of the Mingled Yarncast. I'm your host, Stephen, also known as KnitFan on Instagram and Ravelry, and today we're going to be talking about my recent trip to Rhinebeck, so this will be my Rhinebeck recap, and also my progress on Clue 3 of the Mystery Knit-Along, the Westknits 2024 Mystery Knit-Along. And today it is Wednesday, the 23rd of October, I think, when I'm filming this, but I got to tell you, my time has been tight lately with work and everything else, and a show coming up on Tuesday of next week, and travel coming up this weekend to Universal Studios in Orlando for their Halloween Fest. Yeah, I've got a lot of wonderful things happening, but not a lot of time to sit and talk with you all about knitting. And yeah, part of me wanted to just crash tonight, but I thought if I don't get this done right now, then it's going to be a week before I can do it again. And by that point in time, Rhinebeck will be a distant memory. And, I want to think about it while it's still fresh in my mind and reminisce with all of you while I'm still feeling it, because my goodness, I am. There are so many things I want to get started doing now after that weekend. It was so inspiring. But anyway, I'm going to film tonight, but I'm probably not going to edit tonight. I'm going to give myself that space at least. And tomorrow I've got some time in the airport and on an airplane, so that will be perfect for this, especially since the shawl, the Mystery Knit-Along shawl at this point, has reached a length and a wieldiness that it is not an easy piece to travel with anymore. I'll show it to you here in just a moment. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to tell you about first. Oh, yes. So I mentioned that my show's coming up, my show with Master Voices, the choir, and we're going to be performing on Tuesday of next week, October 29th, 7 p.m. at Carnegie Hall. The Gershwins strike up the band, and it's going to be a show that you don't want to miss. I sang you a little snippet last time, and I told you to, I didn't tell you to, I didn't command you, but I let you know that you could listen to the podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And it is a really, really interesting piece to listen to. It features our director, Ted Sperling, interviewed by John McWhorter. And, oh gosh, I'm forgetting the third person's name, but he is a musical theater historian and, he's really, really smart. They're all really smart. And even if you can't come see the show, you should definitely check out the podcast, especially if you're somebody who loves theater, and especially if you're somebody who loves musical theater. I think you will find it very, very interesting. There are 3 episodes on Strike Up the Band, and 2 of them have been released already. I think the 3rd one's coming this week. So look for that, and let me know in the comments if you do listen and any sort of insights or interesting tidbits that you take away from that, because I thought it was fascinating, and I've only listened to the first one. I can't wait to listen to the second, but it's cool stuff. So, yeah, there's that. And if you can come, I would love to know if you're there. Please leave a comment. Tell me you bought a ticket, and I will do my best afterwards to say hello at the on the street by the stage door. And it would be great to see some of you there. A lot of fun. And it's a fun show. There's tap dancing. There's ridiculous love affairs. There's people having war over cheese. I mean, what more really do you want in a musical? Nothing. So that's that, and we will move on now to a much more serious subject. Let's start with the MKAL, why don't we? Because, I got to tell you, you might think that you're going to come to this channel all the time and I'm only going to say glowing things about everything, and I mostly do. But this Clue 3, so far, it's pretty tricky for me, I've got to tell you. It's a little... It's work. Let's put it that way. It's not relaxing for me. And I will say one thing too. It's not relaxing yet. I'm only at the beginning of it. And I think once I get the flow of it, it might turn out to be a really fun part of this. But right now, yeah, it feels like work. And hopefully you've seen these already. Clue 4 is about to drop tomorrow, and Clue 3 has been all over the socials, so it's probably not a surprise. So, and I've only got a little bit to show you, frankly, so let's see how well I can get it up here. So let's just review. Here is my completed Clue 2. Last time I think I didn't have the final row of bubbles, but there they are. They're up there bubbling away. And I told you about the mohair railroad tracks in the brioche section. And so what follows, and remember I was not sure where the thing would grow from here. Well, it does use the live stitches. And what is happening now is that there is this triangular border that's going to be all along the top, what is now the top edge, or what I think is the top edge anyway. And it looks so cool. Please don't get me wrong. It's a genius construction, and it looks very, very cool. What I am finding difficult about it is this. The triangles are composed of short rows, and I don't mind short rows so much, except these are short rows. Like the length at the start is 15, and then it's, it's like 15, 13, 11, something like that. So what that amounts to then is that I'm flipping this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth a lot. And the piece is gigantic. Look at this. It is a python, anaconda, boa constrictor of a shawl. And I've got to get all the way across it. All the way from here. Oh, shoot. Did I just pull my needle out? No, I didn't. To here. Oof. Doing these short rows, and like I say, if I find the flow and it starts to go easily, maybe once I don't really have the pattern memorized yet. I have the basics memorized. I get the gist of it, but of course they're not identical. The main color triangle and the contrasting color are not identical, so that you gotta switch gears when you switch colors, and it's taking time. So I'm not hating on it. Please don't think that I am, but it's not as much fun as the other parts were for right now. But let's see what happens after this. Clearly, I'm not getting this done tonight, so I will not be ready for Clue 4 tomorrow. I don't even know if I'll be done with it by the end of this weekend, because, like I said, not a lot of time to just sit and do quiet things, although I will have some car time and some plane time, and we'll see. And that's another reason, too, that I didn't want to edit this video tonight. I feel like if I don't make incremental progress on this and get a little bit further tonight and every day, it's just, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to feel tired. And I don't want that. I want to love it. And I don't want to do what I did last year. I don't want it to linger into next year. So I do want to try to finish this time around. So that's the status update. That's the report. No poetry this time. Although it is giving me big top vibes. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Something circus-like, tent-like, which is cool. That's that. You know that meme that goes around of the guy walking with his girlfriend in his arm or on his arm, and he's looking around at the girl walking by, and people use it all the time to say that someone is more into something else than what they're currently with or who they're currently with. That's me right now with this. I'm looking at all the other things because I just spent a wonderful weekend at Rhinebeck at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, and I've got so many new projects to get started on, and I'm not the type to have so many things going on at once. One main project, one small travel project, and then maybe something else on the side, but I don't like to have 15 of them going. So I don't want to start too much yet. But I do want to tell you about them, so you can look forward to things with me. But a little bit before I get to the yarn, let's just talk about really sort of the equally enjoyable part of the experience, of course, is seeing all of the people at New York Sheep and Wool. Thousands and thousands of people come there, and it's so cool to walk around and see everybody's handiwork, their shawls, their sweaters, and to see people wearing the same thing because they participated in this person's knit-along or that person's knit-along. And, you just see these groups form, and to know that it's just all built around this love of this craft. It's really great to see. And then, of course, the vendors, and then, of course, the sheep and the food and the vendors that are not yarn related, like the soaps. Can we talk about the soaps for a minute? Okay, I'm already off track, but I have to tell you, a few years ago, I was in New Hope, Pennsylvania, a beautiful town. If you've never been there, you should definitely visit. It's right on the border with New Jersey, and you can walk across the bridge from state to state. And anyway, I was there, and there's a bath shop there, and I was like, oh, I haven't taken a bath in years. I shower, don't worry. I just haven't taken a bath in years. So I was there. I was like, well, let me get some bath bombs and see what this is all about. And this is like 3 years ago. So I did, and I haven't looked back. I love a good bath bomb. It's true, and I love now a good smelly bar soap too. I have to say, and they've got some great vendors at Rhinebeck at Sheep and Wool. And there's one that I've gone to every time that I've gone, Merriweather's. I'm not going to bring these all out to show you all my soaps. It's just, let's not be that silly. They're soap, and you can't smell them anyway, and that's really the best part of it. So just trust me, they smell fantastic. So I left with like 6 bars of Merriweather soap, and then I saw the bath bomb place, and I got about 4 of those. And then the next day, I found another place, Maggie's Farm, I think it's called, and they do goat milk soaps. And oh my God, they had one that smells like a pine forest. And I've always said that I love the scent of pine. I love it. I love it. Not like fake pine, not like cleanser pine, like real, true pine forest pine. That smell when you're around it. I love that. And I've never smelled anything that really like bottled it correctly. You know what I mean? It always smells a little chemically and fake. But these soaps smelled really, really good. They had all kinds of scents, but I got 2 bars of Siberian fir. I think it was Siberian. Anyway, it's fir tree. It's pine. It's pine. And it smells great. I bathed with it last night, and for the hours after, I'm just like smelling my arm. Anyhow. The soaps. I could go on and on. I have gone on and on. Let me get back to the point. The other thing that I wanted to tell you is that, so I started to say that in addition to the yarn, it is the people, and not just the crowd of strangers who are fun to meet and mix and mingle with, but seeing so many friends that I've met over the years, being kind of engaged with the knitting community online and attending events like this. You meet lots of people along the way, and some of them you see year after year. So I wanted to like name, every interaction I had with everybody, but I hate doing that because I know I'm going to miss someone or two, and someone's going to be left out, and I'm going to feel bad. So let me just simply say, as I'll put up pictures here of all the pictures I have. That's the other thing. I didn't do a great job of taking lots of pictures, but if you've watched this podcast long enough, you probably realize that tends to be the case. I usually have some, but I in the moment, I forgot to take pictures of some people. But anyway, let's see. I'm not going to name every single person, except to say that I did get a chance to see Irina and Jen Geigley and Miguel, people who are mentioned frequently on this podcast, so that it was good to see them. And I also wanted to give a shout out to some viewers who made a point of coming to say hello at the Hill. In particular, Cassandra, who came with her family, and it was very, very lovely to meet all of you. And Michael, who, if you look in the comments, if you're one who comments on the videos, you will see him there pretty much every episode. His name on YouTube is MKAL, and he always leaves very, very thoughtful notes of things that each episode made him think about, and is very, very engaging and very engaged. And it was really, really nice to meet you, Michael. And I want to say, Jim, am I forgetting his name? I'm so sorry if I got that wrong. But it was lovely to meet you both. And as well, Ron, I wanted to say hello to Ron. We got a chance to meet again. Hadn't seen him since last year, but we had a few moments to chat medieval history, in particular learning about his experiences walking the Camino de Santiago. And that was very cool, because that's been on my bucket list, as I've mentioned before. Something that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. So, like I said, it was so great talking with everybody. and getting to see so many wonderful people. And I look forward to next year already. Oh, and I should also say I got to travel there this year with some friends, including my partner, who had never been, to see me in my yarn element. So that was fun too, to get to share that. All right, so now on to the stuff. Let's see, where to begin. I didn't write extensive notes today. I'm going to pick things up and talk about them as I go. So there's no order. It's going to be wonderful. So let me start with these. I mentioned in the last episode that the sweater that I'm going to be making soon will follow Jen Geigley's 1999 pattern. It's a striped sweater, and I want to do it with 4 colors that match the colors of my shoe. And I found them. However, they are from Harrisville Designs. This is their Highland line, a worsted weight, and they have very, very how do I want to describe these colors? Everything feels very natural. Even the bright greens and the things that are a little bit out there still have this muted nature to them that's very, very gorgeous and I don't know, understated and fine. And anyway, their colors really called to me. I don't have them all to show you. I only have these because these are the only 2 that they had in stock. But I put in an order for 3 other colors. So it's this and a dark brown and a dark green and a light green. A light green so light that it's practically yellow. So that's the sort of chartreusey looking color, as you may recall from the shoes, which I'm not going to pull up here right now because they're on the other side of the room. So yeah, I put in an order for this. It's going to be coming in soon. I really, really hope that I can make a lot of progress on that MKAL before it gets here, because I really want to get started on this so bad. You don't even know. Yeah, so I'm excited to do that. I've got the pattern all printed out, and I'm ready to get to work. So those should be coming soon, and I will, probably by the next episode. I mean, I got an email that they shipped them today. So yeah, that should be here in no time. Meanwhile, let's see, throw things on the floor when I'm done with them to remind myself that I'm done. I stopped by the desk, that's not the right word, the kiosk, the shop, the setup of Flying Fibers, who you may remember, from my very first time going to Rhinebeck, which was 3 years ago, I picked up their yarns and made my first sort of Norwegian style sweater, and I wear that a lot in very cold weather, of which we've had very little. So I haven't worn it quite as much recently, but anyway, I wanted to stop by their shop and get a couple of things. This is these are 2 fingering weight skeins, and I picked these up because I am in desperate need of a new pair of gloves. I had a hand knit pair of gloves that I've worn to death. The fingertips kind of ripped out of them, and I think really they're beyond mending. The holes are so big. I mean, really, it's just like start over, begin again. And so I got these, and I found a pattern online. I don't remember what it's called right now, but I'm very eager to get started. It's, as you can see, mostly green, but it's got some faded yellow there, and it looks very natural, actually. It looks that where it's yellow, it looks like dead leaves, you know what I mean? Like when the tips of the leaves brown and turn a little yellow. That's what that looks like to me. I'm hoping that will be what it feels like when it's all knit up. So yeah, I've got to get started on those soon because it is getting cold. I bike to work every morning, and I have a pair of, regular store-bought, drugstore-bought gloves that do the trick for riding my bike, and it is getting cold here in New York. In the mornings, the last week, 2 weeks, it's been in the 50s. 1 week it was even in the one day it was in the 40s. So it is getting chilly, and I need to get to these soon. So another reason why I need to get that MKAL out of the way. Although I might actually put the MKAL away just to get these done because I need them that badly. And I don't think that they'll take too long to knit up a set of gloves. So that's from Flying Fibers. They are based in Pennsylvania. Next. This was not a purchase, but somebody that I met while talking with Irina. This is Megs Co. And This is one of Meg's minis. So I met Meg, and she gave me this to play around with. And look at that. Isn't that really nice? She dyes her own yarn and sells it online. And I believe she has a shop. You know what? I hope that I'm not lying. I will look that up for you and correct myself in the captions if I'm wrong. But yeah, this is just really, really pretty. And there's her logo, so you can see that. Here's the mini description. And this is the colorway, Autumn in New York. Autumn in New York. Da, 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 da. Okay. She also gave me this little sticker. Speaking of New York. And as far as I can tell, that little location marker is at Rhinebeck, which is not where she's based. So I think she made this just for the festival. Isn't that pretty? All right. Don't know what I'm going to make with it yet, but I will let you know. You will know if you keep watching into the future. Next, yes. I, of course, had to go back and say hello to Giovanna at Kiviuk, Windy Valley Muskox. Recall, let me see here if I can get the light off of there a little bit so you can read it better. There we go. Windy Valley Muskox is the company, you may remember from Christmas time last year. They gifted me some yarns, and I got to play with their incredibly beautiful line of Kiviat yarns, Kiviat blends, and actually one skein that was 100% Kiviat. And I loved them. I loved them so much. And so just to recall the story, last year I bought one of these to make a small scarf for my godmother, my dad's sister. And then when Giovanna asked me if I would like to play around with 3 more, I thought, well, I will, of course I will. And I will make them for my mom and her 2 sisters. Well, that left a sister out. That left my dad's other sister out. And I thought, well, okay, this year she's going to get something made with this pink one. And by the way, if you want to make a scarf out of these, you can make a scarf with just one of these little cakes. It can be done, and they've got perfect patterns on their website, on the Windy Valley Muskox website. So yeah, this is enough. They are a little more expensive, but they are enough, just one, to make a beautiful small scarf. And that's what I need right now, actually. I've been wearing, in the past couple of years, some of my big Westknits shawls. But like I said before, it has not been as cold in recent years as it has been in the past. And I just haven't needed a big shawl around my neck. But I do ride my bike, as I said, and I wear a leather jacket when I do. And when I made these last year for my aunts and my mother, I found that just kind of giving them a test ride, they were perfect. They wrap around and they sit nicely underneath a jacket. And I was like, yeah, that's what I need. And Giovanna had said to me last year, she said, oh, I wish you would have made something for yourself to keep and to enjoy for you. So I said, you know what? This year, that's what I'm going to do. So this one is going to be for me, this blue silver. And what I would like to do is just develop my own simple pattern for it and write it up, because yeah, I need to start doing that. It's time. I've said in the past that I'm going to, and I actually have started to. I have a sock pattern that really just needs me to throw it out to the world and say, here you go, world. But you know, perfectionist. I sit and I look at it, and then what do they call it? Analysis paralysis. That sets in, and then I don't do anything with it. So you can shame me in the comments or encourage me. Shame and encouragement, welcome, both. But anyway, I will be doing this, and I think it will be not very difficult to write a really pretty pattern because I'm familiar with the yarns and how it knits up, and I think it'll be good. So there we go. Looking forward to these again this Christmas. Where are we now? Let's see. I probably should have started with this because this was my first purchase, this bag. And just a simple sheep on it. Let me sit back here so you can kind of get a sense for the size of it. And it came from the Epicurean Boutique. There you go. Give them a follow. I got to the festival around 10, which is about an hour after it started. And the first thing I did was I went right to the souvenir line because I wanted to get the bag for this year's show. And I was late. I was too late. Well, I think I was too late anyway. The line was hundreds of people long. It was very, very long. And I am the type of person where, well, I should say I'm not the type of person who's going to wait on a line for pretty much anything. Being in New York, you see people, whatever the latest craze is for, I don't know, cronut or this pastry or that thing, and people will line up for hours to get it. And for me, like, that just, I don't know, if there's an inverse relationship between the time it takes to wait and my desire for the thing, which I know is not going to live up to that wait. Now, having said that, would the bag from New York Sheep and Wool 2024 have lived up to the wait? Maybe over time, but in the moment, I was like, this is an hour or more that I'm going to be standing on this line, and that's not what I feel like doing. So I didn't. And then later on, in the evening, standing outside of a candy shop. Oh, okay, here's another side story. After dinner in Rhinebeck, we had a really, really great dinner at the Beekman Inn, which, according to their sign, is the oldest inn in the United States. 1760, I think, is the year on it. So I had dinner there. Wonderful place, really good food, great time. Then we're wandering through town, which was surprisingly dead on a Saturday night during a major festival. I thought more things would be open, but neither here nor there. It's a small town. But one thing that was open was a candy shop. And as we're walking by, we noticed that passing us is a familiar face. It was Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd, the actor, yes, that Paul Rudd. And he walked right by us and into the candy shop. So one of my friends and I, we said, well, was that him? We need to know. And so we walked inside and got a good look. And we're like, oh, sure enough, it's Paul Rudd. But I didn't want to be the person to just walk in and go, ooh, I know you, and walk out. So I bought some gum, some bazooka gum. And anyway, we left out, told the rest of our group that was, in fact, Paul Rudd. And I have since learned that he owns that candy shop. He owns a candy shop in Rhinebeck with some other people. It was a shop that was going to close in 2014. If I remember correctly from the article, the owner died, and it was a beloved shop, and they didn't want to see it close. So he and a friend bought it, and he even works there when he's there in town and not working. I don't know if he lives in Rhinebeck full-time, but he obviously spends a lot of time there. And yeah, so he's a local and well-loved, and I'm glad we didn't bother him, but I'm also glad that I got to see him in the flesh and go, ooh. But I tell you all this because after that experience, as we stepped out and are, going, oh my gosh, celebrity sighting, we ended up talking to a woman who was sitting there and knitting, and she had a bag from the festival, so I knew that she had just been there herself. And I commented on the bag. It was this year's bag. And I said, oh, you're one of the lucky ones. You got there early. And she said, no, I ordered it ahead of time. Didn't you know that? Oh. And, I was like, oh, no, I didn't know that you could order them ahead of time. I guess I'll remember that for next year and the years ahead. And I'll do that because I really do enjoy the bags and I use them all the time. So anyhow, didn't get a bag, did get to see Paul Rudd. I guess it evens out somewhere or another. Not that those things are connected. Anyway, how did I get there? Oh, yeah, the bag. Here's the bag in question. So this year's... Do I have the program here? I thought that I did somewhere. Because if I could show you the program... I do! Ha! So this is the program for the festival, and this is the image that was on the bag. And if you compare it to this, you will see that, well, this bag's a pretty good knockoff, isn't it? And... I don't mind that at all. I think it's a beautiful bag, and I look forward to using it. And it was very helpful as I moved through the fair. I'm not going to break out into song right now, but some of you probably know the song He Moves Through the Fair or She Moves Through the Fair. Next in line. Now this is a surprise gift for a friend, one of the friends I was there with. But I don't think she really watches this, so I'm going to show you and hope that she doesn't see it. And if she does, well, oh well. So as you can see, this is a kit of minis, and the colorway, does it say? Oh yes, it does say Falling Leaves, which makes a lot of sense. This is from the Alpaca Yarn Company, and I bought this to make the Papillon butterfly shawl, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. It's been all over social media now for a couple of years, and I see it all the time. I've saved probably a dozen different versions of it that I've seen people post on Instagram, and it's been on my queue and on my wish list for a very long time now. And when I saw that they had kits specifically for it, I thought, aha, this is perfect, because if I bought 10 skein, like a full skein of each of these yarns, even if they were a merino yarn or something else, I mean, they'd be, $20 a skein, and there's 10 of them, so that's getting up there in price, right? This was $50, and it's alpaca, and it's just enough for what I'm going to need for the shawl. So I thought, oh, that's a deal right there. That's a steal, practically, and I'm looking forward to it. So like I said, I'm going to be making this for the friend that was there with me, and that is assuming that I don't make it and fall in love with it myself. It happens, but since I suppose I've declared to you that I will be giving it to her, maybe I have to. We'll see. But anyway, that was one of my purchases. And finally, last but certainly not least, I bought at Maggie's farm, where I also bought the goat milk soap. Before I bought the soap, I bought this. I didn't even notice the soap, and then I noticed it later. But this is a Learn to Spin kit, and it comes with a... a drop spindle, and a bunch of unspun yarn. And this, by the way, is a little bit of extra merino yarn given to me by Thomas, who I've spoken with most years at the fair, and he often volunteers there, and so we caught up, and I showed him about this, and he knows everything about weaving and spinning and all facets of yarn life. He knows much more than I do. And in fact, he taught me everything I know about spinning, which is to say, he gave me a 5-minute lesson, and that comprises everything I know at this point. I know nothing. So I'm eager to read through this and learn how to spin, because I've seen so many people online talk about just how gratifying, satisfying, calming it is to work with a drop spindle and to do this. And I was also sort of charmed by the the description here. So you know me, right? I love history and all of that. It says, Learn to Spin kit, using the same techniques as used by the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Vikings, and during medieval times. This simple tool will allow you to custom design and create one-of-a-kind yarns. Simple to learn, this kit contains a spindle, instructions, and some fiber. All you need to get started in the world of spinning. So you had me at Egyptians, Mayans, and Vikings. I was there for it, and I'm very excited to get started. It's a pretty basic spindle. If you are, attending Rhinebeck or probably any wool festival of any size, there are vendors there that create beautiful, beautiful, beautiful instruments. And every time I see them, I'm tempted, and I'm also like, I'm put off by the price, mostly because I don't know how to do the thing. So I'm like, if I were doing it and I knew something about it, I would feel justified spending, $60, $70 or more on a really nice spindle. But this whole kit, spindle, wool, all of it, $20. So that to me was perfect. So I'll learn how to do it, and maybe next year I will get one that is a bit more ornate, but I will always have fondness, hopefully, for my very first spindle. And that, I think, brings me to a close of this episode. If there is anything else to tell you, I guess I'll make a note of it and tell you next time, because that is this year's Rhinebeck recap. Yeah, that's all I got, folks. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Next episode should be about the fourth clue of the mystery knit-along, and, wish me luck. I hope that I will get it done before Thanksgiving. Hopefully long before Thanksgiving, but definitely before then. Anyway, I will see you next time. Take care. Be well.